And with that, hello, moin moin. So first of all, let me replay this.
Welcome
Nanook,
aboard
nice
the
to see
Captain
you.
Blackbox Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served.
Right,
Thank you.
and there we have Avenger.
Good evening at Blackbox 711 and chat.
Avenger, thank you very much for the 58th month. Hope you're doing well, Avenger. Thank you so much. Let me try find my push button for the applause. Hang on. There. Ha! Found it. Jers, hello. Mark, hello. So, Mark, I thought you would love this, right? I found it. It's always hard to find on the map, this place, but Mark, thank you. Yeah, so East Midlands. Yeah, and I was going to think, well, maybe he would fly along, but I guess you got the message too late. So Nelio, hello to you. Yeah, so we're going to do a practice flight today in the 747, because we are, just in case you have missed it. Does this place even exist? Apparently it does. There are rumors that it actually exists in real life. So we're going to try, well, not try, it's pretty much certain that we'll be flying across the pond on the 20th of April. And I did a little poll, which is still running on my Discord. And the option was, so the routing is Amsterdam to Montreal, and the option was either 777 PMDG or 747 PMDG. So we'll be flying in P3D, and currently we have 91 votes for the 747, and only, I say only, but it's still a lot. It's 51 for the 777, which surprises me. I always thought we had so many, 777 lovers out here. So, but I mean, then again, it's the Queen, isn't it? It is the Queen. So, there we have it. Yes, I did fly the 747 IRL. I did. No, Mickey, no. The thing is this. There are some aircraft on Microsoft Flight Sim that you can theoretically use to fly long range over the pond. So there would be the 737 BBJ, and maybe the A310.
Welcome aboard the Captain Blackbox Duo channel experience.
But
could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin?
It is a bit hard pressed, isn't it?
Snacks and premium flight.
Lilo, hello to you, and Wahab, hello to you. The Wahab doesn't like the 747 much. 777 is the best. Well, yeah, Microsoft Flight Sim has not the best flight physics. Right, speaking of that, let me start, let me see if I can have a quick look at RealTurb. Do I actually have it here? RealTurb. Although it should be running automatically, right? Yeah, it should be running. So, yeah, but we'll have a look at the beautiful 747 today. What do you think about the 748 and Max Lorenzo? The 748, my personal feeling is that it's a very basic kind of add-on. So I'm not really that fond of the 747 in Max Flight Sim. It's not terrible, but again, it's not at this, kind of a level that I would really want to fly. Do I like the 787? Yeah, with the Horizon mod, I do like it, and I fly the 787 in real life. So I do like it. Yes, I like it very much, actually. Even though it is Boeing. And Boeing, at the moment, doesn't have the best reputation, right? Anyways, we are on VATSIM. If anybody wants to join, quick join. We are on VATSIM, and we have currently ground online, which is nice. 121905. Cool. Right. So let's have a quick look here. Menu, FMC, route request send 747, and there we've got our routing. We'll send that off. Request. Dr. Fred, have you tried the 748 since? Yes, working title updated some months ago. Dr. Fred, I did try the update. Now, I'm not sure if that was the actual update you're talking about, but I remember there was an update, and I did indeed fly the 747 to Amsterdam, actually. Is the plane hard to fly? No. So what I've been saying, and I stand by what I said previously, the 787, for me, from all the aircraft that I've been flying, has been the easiest to fly. The 787 is so fantastically balanced when it comes to the fly-by-wire system and, you know, pilot inputs and so on. It's not. It doesn't mean you can't mess things up. I mean, we've seen some crazy approaches into London Heathrow and some other airports with the 787. So it's, you know, pilot-induced oscillations and pilot inputs that are just, you know, stupid. That can still happen. But all in all, the 787 has been the easiest aircraft to get used to. And I've done some very challenging crosswind landings already, especially in Toronto. And the other day I was in Montreal with 25 to 30 knots crosswind. And never ever before have I ever had the feeling that the aircraft was so stable and, you know, from the systems as well, so comfortable to use and fly. Really nice. Yeah, I was actually hoping that the 777 would be released prior to the cross the pond, but I mean, that's just wishful thinking. So, unfortunately, no, we didn't get it. So, okay, so what did I fly up to now? This is a command that I've made because I do get the questions relatively often here. So I've had quite a career. And guys, the weirdest thing ever, I found some videos on YouTube, and I'm gonna take some of the, I'm gonna cut out some of the most interesting, funny clips I can show you, where it takes me back in time, i.e. to 1995, the way I started out flying, and then show you guys how we briefed, how we prepared flight plans, and actually how we prepared to fly to airports that we haven't been to before. So we had these kind of airport tutorial program. Well, it's not even programs. Those were on slides, so photo slides. Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And you know, seeing that again, man, that took me back in time, and yeah, crazy stuff. Cool. Anyways, we are going to have a look at
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Duo Channel Experience.
Who's this? Hang on, let me just see.
Could new subscribers please make their way
and
to
big thank you to Gilend. First of all, Gilend, bonjour, monsieur. How are you?
Snacks and premium flight infotainment will be served.
And Gilend, thank you so much, gifting a sub.
Hello, Mr. Black Box. Any chance we can have Earl 787 videos?
So, first of all, thank you so much, Gilend, again for merci beaucoup for the gifted sub to Nanook. And Flurkle coming in with 3 months. Thank you much, Flurkle. Regarding IRL videos 787, I am going to, I'm going to record some takeoff landings going forward. Up to now, I've not really had the opportunity to take a longer camera. But yes, I will do that at some point. Zebo, hello to you. So anybody just joining now, this is the beauty that we're flying today, and as well that it looks like from the poll that this is the beauty, although it's going to be the 747 from KLM that we will be using for the Cross the Pond event. Lilo writes, been watching and some DFDI and I got my hyped about the add-on. Okay, I will see. I will see how that goes. Fogbound Turtle, hello to you. Virtual Pilot, hello. Why don't you use P3D version 6? I had it installed and then suddenly I wanted to update to the latest version and then something went wrong and the program wouldn't start anymore. So I would have to reinstall everything again, and it is somewhat tedious to get it all installed. And at the moment, as you know, as I've been writing on my Discord, we are in the midst, well, just starting out on a 6-week renovation work on our house, well, living room area and so on. And so it's something. It's a lot of work that has to be organized and so on. So I am a little bit hard pressed with time at the moment. So, and that's why I had to reschedule yesterday's stream to tonight. Okay, so you also tried the X-Plane 12 and the 11, and you think it's a good buy. Nice. Hey Florian, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Trading Pilot, yeah, me too. I hope 777 comes to Microsoft Flight Sim soon, and the 747 of course as well. Will you try the Flight EFS Labs Concorde sometime? Mickey, I do get the question regularly. I will try, but again, I'm hard pressed on time at the moment because of things going on in my life right now. But rest assured, I'll try my best. I will try my best. But for now, obviously, we are preparing for the Cross the Pond event. So yeah, we shall see. Right, let me just do one more thing here. Write something. Okay, so how often are you flying at the moment? Not that much. Right now, I'm on holiday as well, so that I can take care of things here at home, so that my wife isn't on her own trying to get everything sorted. So we've got the routing inserted. I was just looking at the flight plan here so that we can have a look at the fuel required. So fuel required is about 39.7, including taxi fuel, flight time 2 hours 16, and the weather right now is good. Keflavik, northerly winds 18 knots, 5 degrees, get at 3.5. And that looks fine. Some rain showers from time to time. And then we've got our alternate Akureyri. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's okay to land there, but I don't think it's really a good plan. But anyways, we'll leave it in there. Hey, Cannon Plug. Nanook, Nanook, the Gilend. So Gilend gifted you the sub. Yeah, big thank you again. Right, let me just quickly have a look at the airports here. Just want to see how long the runway is that we have. That about 2.4 kilometers. Can we actually land there with a heavy aircraft? Yeah, well, it's got the minimums for the heavies, so not the best kind of airports, but we'll take it. It's all right. Yeah, Kelsey, that is also a YouTuber, right? And he's now a 747 Captain, yeah. Good. Let's continue. So what I'm going to do now is going to go ahead and insert the departure route. We've got ground control here, but I don't have any ATIS. Oh, disregard, I do. It's information Bravo. Runway is 27, so I'm going to enter 27 in here. And we're planning for the Trent to November departure. Execute. So that will take us to Trent, November 57 Pole Hill, Uniform November 601 Tala, direct Baku, direct Ratsu, that'll be our entry point for Iceland, or Reykjavik area, and then we've got direct Aldan, direct Azrun, and then we're going to have the Azrun arrival. Hang on. Oh, hang on. We're just getting some news here. Hang on. VATSIM launch event. What? Huh? Oh, man. Blimey. Well, I mean, if that... So that was posted today by PMDG Matthias. And he wrote, information about the VATSIM launch event will be posted here. Okay. Yeah, but that's today. That's today, 1408. That's when that post was published. Oh. I don't know. I guess it's going to be... I mean, I have, yeah. Well, we'll watch that. If for some reason the 777 should release before the 20th, well, you bet I'll fly the 777. I mean, no doubt. I'd be silly not to do it. But if it's not releasing, then yeah, we will fly the 747. Hey, Voyager Moin, never change a working plan, right? Cool. So we're going to go with the Zulu ILS-01, and the arrival is going to be the Azrun 3 November. And we are going to take the arrival via Dexon transition. Execute. So let's have a quick look. Going to go to the plan mode here, zoom out a bit. So that's Azrun, arrival route right to the final. And then missed approach, etc. Okay, cool. That should work. Ed Force 5, nice to see you. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Well, Mudflap, I thought about it. The problem is, again, I just do not have the time right now to spend some hours preparing, learning the 747-200 again. And then, setting up shared flight, making preparations and so on. I just do not have the time for that at the moment. So, Chucks, yeah. So I mean, I've always been pretty much fond of PMDG, and here in P3D especially, of course, since we don't have PMDG yet. But then again, I mean, if it holds true that the 777 will be released before the Cross the Pond event, I mean, that would be a huge thing. That would be quite clever. Yeah, Ed Force 5, I agree. They would have to rename that Cross the Pond 777. Pele, good morning. How are you doing? Nice to see you. It won't happen. Well, probably not. But again, if it does, I can promise you then I will fly the 777. Yeah. Cool. So one more thing to do, though, before we do anything else. Let me get the weather request in. PMDG will wait for the SU-15 to be released first. Yeah. When is the SU-15 release date right now? Where does that stand? Anybody know? Right, we're going to load the weather here. No date. Okay. Isn't that strange? Why no date? So VNAV, let's go descent page, forecast, load. And let me just look at the transition. Transition for the ILS approach later on. It should be around about 80, not 180. So 80 here. No, 080. And right now for takeoff, cruise altitude level 380. And here is Midlands. We have transition in 6,000 feet. All right. Then what we do, we're going to set the weights according to the flight plan. So that's supposed to be 271.6. 0 fuel weight. That's a pretty heavy load. GG. So we're going to go ahead. Reserves for the alternate is 11 tons. Cost index is 36. Right, regarding the takeoff, we don't have a calculator in here, so let me see if I have an app somewhere. If I remember correctly, I had an app for takeoff performance. Yeah, 747-400. Oh, hang on, is that just landing? Oh, that's just landing. Disregard. Yeah, I thought that was for takeoff as well. No, that's just for landing. Anyways, so we're going to have to guess. We are pretty heavy. We're weighing 311 tons. So let me go with takeoff. And we're going to go with 40 selected. Climb 1. And we'll do flaps 20. Engine out 1500. And the rest should be... Let's just have a quick look at our infos for East Midlands. Airport infos. Oh, I have that here as well. Disregard. So let's just search here. East Midlands has NADP 2. So 1310. Thrust reduction. And on page 2, hang on, where is my? Oh, there we go. 13. Oh, that's 1,000 height. Disregard. It's height, isn't it? Not much. So 1,000 height and 1,000 height here as well. Cool. Oh, that's autosave right now. I thought it was end of April, Chuck says. Hey, Andreas, moin. Cool. So CG is 23. Now, what's missing here? Performance in it. I've done all that. Gross weight. There we go. So now I have the speeds. 160. LNAV, VNAV. 6,000 will probably be the first altitude. We will check that though with the departure chart. So let's have a quick look here. So the trend to departure is a standard departure, not RNAV. So a conventional. So it'll be 298 degrees. Pretty much at 1 mile, India Echo Mike Echo, turn right 298 track, cross 12 dB trend at or above 3,000, max 6,000, 7 miles trend 5 to 6, and then 4 miles latest at 6,000. So I'm going to put Nafrat Trent in here. I'm going to lock that in. And also, let me see if I can lock in the frequency here for the ILS. 109.35. With entry, it needs a course as well, doesn't it? So it needs... .268, I think that's how we do it. 268. There we go. So now I have the DME distance here on the primary flight display. Excellent. Yeah, so DCS, another one of those topics. I do plan to continue to fly and use DCS. Right now, I'm just so hard pressed on time. I need to, you know, as much as I like DCS, the thing is you have to spend lots of time with it. Hey Bella. And so again, as much as I'd love to fly more at the moment, just gonna set the parking brake here. We're gonna have the chocks removed. APU is running. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to close all the doors. Close all. There we go. And then before we do a briefing, we'll go ahead and dial in the ground frequency and let's get the clearance. Oh, what? I can't dial in 121.905? Are you joking? Lol. Okay, so it doesn't have 8.33 spacing. Com 121.905. And that is a bit strange. Settings, push to talk, apply. There we go. East Midlands ground, good afternoon from Cargolux 8711, information Bravo, request clearance please. Oh. I can't hear him. Why can't I hear him?
Cargo 8711 East Midlands ground, good evening, report aircraft license stand number.
The stand number is 105 and we are 747 Foxtrot. Sorry, 747 400 Foxtrot.
Cargo 8711, thanks very much. You're cleared Keflavik, Trent 2 November departure, squawk 7275.
Cargolux 8711 cleared to Keflavik, Trent 2 November departure, and we're squawking 7275.
Cargo 8711, read that correct.
72. Yeah, I keep forgetting you have to report aircraft type and stand here. Audio. Now I need to check my output volume. Need to boost that just a tad. And again, guys, if the audio is too quiet for you guys, let me know, please. So unfortunately, yeah, that's true. Pale ale, yeah. How are you doing, pale ale? Should we post in this tweet with the upcoming launch of the hotly anticipated from PG? What's going to be your first flight? Well, I mean, if it's crossed the pond, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? Cool. So we got the Trent 2 November departure. We're going to climb 6,000 as briefed. In case engine failure, it's just going to be straight out. Acceleration going to be in about 1,900 feet. Clean up, climb 4,000 radar vector approach back to East Midlands. RTO. Yeah, we're aboard to take off until V1 for thrust loss, aircraft not controllable, ATC call, and any warnings, cautions that we need to abort to take off with. Goody, so let's do the checklist. Oxygen, test at 100%. Flight instruments, heading is 179, altimeter 1026,320. Yeah, 1026. Parking brake set, fuel control switches cut off. And that's the pre-flight checklist completed. Excellent. Let's have a look for the rest of the items now. APU's online. Then we shall do the before start items. Let me just check the fuel quickly. Yeah, we already have tank to engine, so I'm going to put crossfeed off. And that is good. That's fine. Beacon going both. Gonna get the aircon off. Do one more recall check. That is good. And that's RTO. Before start to the line, passenger signs are on. MCP V2160 heading 268, altitude 6,000. Take a speed.
East Midlands ground, speedbird 801, ready for push and start.
We got 137-148-160. CD pre-flight completed.
Push and start approved, facing east. Speedbird 801.
Rudder aileron trim is free and neutral. Takeoff trim, that's true. What's the takeoff trim supposed to be? 5.8. Yeah, it is set. Taxi takeoff briefing. Well, takeoff briefing completed. The taxi is as follows. Let's just show you guys. Taxi. So we're going to taxi probably, well, Juliet maybe, or Foxtrot. We'll see. Alpha. Holding point, Alpha 2 or Alpha 1, or those two. So that's completed. That's down to the line. Cargo looks 8711, stand 105. Request push and start, please.
Cargo looks 8711, stand 105. Push and start approved, face east.
Push, start approved, face east. Cargo looks 8711, heavy, thank you. It's weird that they don't say heavy here in the UK. It's just such a huge plane, man. TV Revenger, how you doing? Please entertain me while I close my eyes in distress. Okay, TV. I hope it wasn't too bad. Der Drehflüger, guten Abend. Hope it wasn't too bad.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
So, facing east. That means we're going to have to face, yeah, this way.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Oh, you had fun. That's good to hear. Plus traveling. Yeah, that's true. JMO, hello. How are you doing?
Locking gear.
Yeah, P3D isn't Microsoft Flight Sim, but still, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Oh, chocks. Oh no, already got them off. Let's quick edit. You see, that's the thing with these. Where's... There it is. So, there. There and there. You recently changed from Microsoft to X-Plane. Yeah, it's interesting to hear. You know, JMO. I'm interested in these kind of feedbacks because it just shows that there are still lots of flight simmers out there that prefer, accurate aerodynamic simulation over just eye candy, right?
East Midlands ground, Freebird 81 ready for taxi. We can accept whiskey intersection.
All engines clear. Start at will.
Alrighty.
Freebird 801, thanks. Taxi holding point whiskey 1, runway 27 via Charlie,
so 4,
Romeo,
3,
Alpha.
we have auto start.
Charlie, Romeo, Alpha to whiskey 1 holding point runway 27, Freebird 801.
So these are the Rolls Royce. Do they really start up that fast? I'm a bit surprised. Getting a bit lags here, I don't know why.
Please set parking brakes.
Brake sets.
Unlocking gear.
A380 over 747? No. Come on. No. Hey Scotty, nice to see you. Big shout out to Scotty the Hottie. If you don't know him, he's also streaming on Twitch. Go and check out his streams. Thank you. Right, Scotty, how are you doing? So, Scotty, are you flying along across the pond? Any plans for that? Yeah, Alex, we did. Yeah, we did start 2 engines at the same time.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Okay, depends on work. Okay.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Freebird 801, contact London Control now.
That looks good. So we're going to do the after start or before taxi items.
Thanks very much for controlling Speedbird 801. See ya.
So flaps going 20. One recall check, and we'll do a flight control check. The runway lights are kind of the turn-off lights. So for turns, I always find them quite important, yeah. Oh, it's a bit laggy here. All right. All right, there's the all clear signal. Let's have a look. And let's read the before taxi checklist. Anti-ice is off, or auto actually, I should say. It's all in auto. Then we'll have a look for the recall check. Auto brake is RTO. Flight controls check. Ground equipment is clear. Cargolux 8711. Request taxi.
Cargolux 8711, taxi holding point Alpha 1, runway 27 via Bravo and Alpha.
Via Bravo and Alpha, holding point Alpha 1, runway 27, Cargolux 8711. So as expected, onto Alpha, so Bravo, here's Bravo, and then we'll turn left, right onto Alpha all the way down. So, all clear, let's go. Yeah, tight turns, yeah. So brake check, brakes are working. Now someone just departing, a speedbird. Beautiful. Beautiful, I agree. So, man, just don't get too close to the edge there, but no, we're good. On the line, and yeah, we're not taking out any flowers or any taxi lights. Speedbird at East Midlands, totally unrealistic, right? Is it me, or are we sitting a little bit too high? Let me see, that looks a bit better, doesn't it? Right, now, nasty turn inbound. So let me just slow down a bit. Let's go about 7 knots. So we've got to go and oversteer this quite heavily. So we're trying to imagine where our nose wheel is. Sorry, the main gear is. Maverick, hello to you. So this should work. Yeah, we did all right. We did all right. The real Tyrogoth, hello to you. How are you doing? Nice to see you. East Midlands is not posh enough for the for British Airways, lol. Now we don't have any cabin crew on board, so there should be no cabin ready. Hence, we're going to run the checklist.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Duo Channel experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin?
Oh, Scotty, that's really kind of you.
Complimentary drinks,
Scotty.
Snacks, and premium
big
flight
autosave.
entertainment will be served.
I set the
Thank
autosave
you.
to 20 minutes, so it doesn't happen too often. But it is needed. So big thank you, Scotty Dotty, gifting us up to the real Tyrogoth. Thank you so much, Scotty. Big round of applause for that. Thank you very much. Very, very kind. Let's read before takeoff to the line. Flaps 20 set. Let's get rid of the status page. Are we not doing bad on time? I think we pretty much pushed back right on schedule. Oh. Got to be careful with the asymmetric thrust. You can really feel how the aircraft pushes to the right if you got a lot more thrust on the left engines. So I'm going to make sure I have everything nice and symmetrical. It's not easy. I've got 4 thrust levers now on the Bravo throttle quadrant. Lilienthal, wie geht's? How are you doing? Nice to see you. I would assume that we will be landing in the dark in Keflavik. King Creed, hello, and Kavata Guns, hello to you.
Carglax 8711, contact
Vielen
landing
Dank.
control now 120.025, have a good flight.
120.025, have a nice evening. Thank you much, Carglux 8711. 20025. Can we dial that in? Yep, that we can dial in.
Blue Max 127, descend flight level 210.
Flight level 210 for Max 127.
Ryanair 36 Lima, Mike, climb flight level 360.
Climb 360, Ryanair 360, Mike.
A slow box. Yeah, true. I am taxing a bit slow. Just enjoying the moment. Good. Let me go ahead and get the weather radar on. So right-hand side, we'll get the terrain mode on.
Bluebird 2354, descend flight level 150.
And then we'll have weather terrain.
Descend level, flight level 150, speedbird 2354.
Correct. Bluebird 2354, do you have the waypoint in your legs page? Bombo.
Negative.
Roger.
So that is London control, right?
Unfortunately, no further ATC. Monaco Unicorn 122 disconnect. Bye-bye.
Unicorn, Oceanic Craft, remember, have a good evening. See ya.
Could new subscribers please make your way
So
to the
TCAS
first
is now
class
on.
cabin,
Let's read
where
the before takeoff
complimentary
below the
drinks,
line.
snacks,
TCAS
and premium
TARI
flight
cabin is
entertainment
secure,
will
and
be
that's
served.
the before
Thank
takeoff
you.
checklist completed.
Good
Big-
evening, BB. I hope you're doing well.
Big thank you, Captain Chaos. I am just a bit busy with the renovation works, but apart from that, all good. Thank you so much for the 54 months, Captain Chaos. Under control, good evening from Cargolux 8711 at East Midlands, holding short 27, ready for departure. London Control, good evening from Cargolux 8711 in East Midlands. Holding short 27, ready for departure.
Carglass 8711 in London Control. Good evening. Apologies, I was on the landline. Runway 27, clear for takeoff. A surface wind at East Midlands is 250 degrees or 12 knots.
No worries, runway 27 cleared for takeoff, Cargolux 8711.
Speedbird 2354, descend flight level 130.
Descend flight level 130, speedbird 2354.
Approach sector is clear.
Speedbird 2354, speed 250 knots or greater.
Clock is to
Speed
run.
250 knots or greater. Speedbird 2354.
27
No problem,
confirmed.
Speedbird 2354.
Are we ready?
Report your heading and speed to London Control.
Let's do this.
119.780.
Oh yes. Here we
London
go.
Control 119.780. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take off. Oh yeah.
Max 127, thank you for your help there.
Thrust
Normal
set.
speed.
Checked. Oops, little lag.
Was that for Blue Max 127? Apologies.
Hey Sam, thank you for your help. Resume normal speed.
Ooh, she's going. V1.
Rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Here we go. Oh yes, please. Looking for 1.1. DMEs, then got to turn right.
Bluebird 1527.
LNAV, VNAV speeds.
Bluebird 1527, land control, good evening. Direct fit.
Trimming down. Here's 1.1.
Direct Finma, Bluebird 1527. Blue Max
Laps
127, descend flight level 150, be level by Finma.
Level 150, level by Finma, Max 127.
Flaps 5.
Cargolux 8711, report your passing altitude, climb now, flight level 80.
Cargolux 8711, passing 2,600 feet, climb now, level 80. Good, 8,000, so climb now means without any restrictions. So I'm going to put this to level change. Flaps 1. Autopilot on, flies beautifully. Flaps going up.
3 back, flight control, good evening.
Nanook, no worries. See you next time. Thanks for helping in. Just look at the slats.
Cargolux 8711, climb flight level 160.
Cargolux 8711, climb level 160. So flap slats up, that goes to off.
Shuttle 3 right, good
That
evening.
is off
Please
automatically.
Shuttle 3 Mike. Hello, thank you,
So
sir. Please
flight
follow
level change,
plan.
LNAV.
That would be helpful, wouldn't
So
it?
what we can
45
also
power,
do
very much.
to get rid of the
Thank you, sir.
restrictions,
What's your destination?
let's go to VNAV
Super.
page.
Thank you.
And if you push that out button once, it clears the next restriction. So I'm going to clear that again. Now we have no more restrictions. I
Shuttle
go
3 right,
to VNAV.
when ready, descend to flight level 180.
Thrust rev, VNAV speed. We have transition.
Cargolux 8711, unfortunately no further ATC, 1 of you Unicom 122, destination bye-bye.
22.8. Thank you so much, Cargolux 8711. So I should have put 6,000 here. 6,000. There it is. Altimeter standard is set.
Shuttle 6 Kilo, London Control, good evening. Climb now, flight level 2.
Beautiful. Right, I'm gonna dial down the sim sound just a tad. They just seemed a little bit too loud. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Here we got a little bit weather radar return. Look at that. A little bit of a shower up ahead. Not much though. And that's what I'm missing. I'm missing that feature so much in Microsoft Flight Sim. Cool, 10,000. Let's go seatbelts auto. We'll go Nafrat clear. Actually, delete the ILS. Delete Trent. Route. Let's do route copy quickly. And that's pretty much it. Good to go. Man, I don't know what it is, guys, but taking off in the 747, even in the flight sim, it just makes me smile. I just have a big grin on my face when I take off in the 747. I have a big grin when I'm taking off in the 787 in real life, but I will admit the grin you have in the 747 is bigger. It's just undescribable. Right, we've got some questions or hellos in YouTube as well. Dustin, good Abend. Oh, Saren, you're getting Brunner force feedback yoke. Nice, Saren. Oh, I admire you. That's, I would love to have one as well, but those are expensive. Blimey. Yeah, but the force feedback definitely adds to realism. 100%. After takeoff checklist, PAX auto. Landing gear up and off, flaps up. And that's the after takeoff checklist complete. TFC on. Traffic on. Let's have a look. Ah. No. Now it's on. Thank you, Mark. One thing I'm missing as well, regarding the weather radar, I'm missing these distance rings. Yeah, but the weather radar is on. We are getting some returns, right? Now we can tilt down a bit. That's too much. Oops. Gain, tilt. Yeah, landing lights as well. You are correct. We can get rid of all of the lights.
Traffic easy 730 on final. We've been set to localise that and glide scope. Runway 23 right.
Oh, the range rings are an option. Ah. Okay. Here in the PMDG as well, setup or aircraft displays. Yeah, they are active sky cloud art. So I've been asked if I use volumetric clouds. No, I don't. I use active sky cloud art. Yeah. The reason being is that if you use active sky cloud art with the active sky weather app, you actually get weather returns. So that's the difference. Ah, thank you. There we go. Now I have the range rings. I was missing those. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so Siren, I did try version 6. However, there were some updates out, and then I tried to update. I think it was the third update along the line, and suddenly it just wouldn't update anymore. It said it had some error, and then I tried to fix the client and so on. However, it didn't work, so I have to reinstall everything again. And at the moment, I just don't have the capacity. I really don't.
Manchester traffic, easy 730, short final, 4 nautical miles till touchdown.
Oh, Zarin, you got your Brunner force feedback second hand, £600. That's a good deal, yeah. Gustavo, what? He bought the MFG Crosswinds a few years ago, and the custom called me to their office because they thought there was a gun inside. That's a good one. Lol. Yeah, there are tweaks. So, Barbate, Brandon, yeah, there are tweaks out for volumetric clouds. But again, you would have to try out, and as far as I can see, there are certain weather situations, especially with overcast cloud layers, and you get these waffle effects. And and as far as I know, volumetric effect do not allow for any weather radar returns. And that's just the thing. Dr. Fate, what NADP do you normally use in the 787? Normally NADP 2. I know what you mean, but no, we have literally 90% NADP 2. Maverick asks if you had a chance to interview for a major airline but had just recently joined a smaller airline like less than 2 months ago, would you still go for an interview? Yes, I would, Maverick. You can still decline, but I think, Maverick, in my opinion, every interview that you do is a good practice. It's always a good practice. The more interviews you do, the better you become at them, the less stressed out you'll be. 100%. Yeah, do those interviews. Absolutely. Yeah, of course, and Captain Chaos is correct. What if they actually offer you a better job with better pay? That's just, I know that, when you get a job assignment with an airline, you feel obliged, right? For the chance that you've gotten. However, it's a tough market out there. And don't be mistaken, the moment the airline is suffering financially and has to lay off workers, they will lay you off easily, right? So, there's no need to feel, shame in looking for a better employment somewhere. It always works both sides. You have an interview in a month for TUI MPL. They say to just be yourself. Yeah, exactly. So Joris, so that's when I get asked if I can give people some helpful tips on on their application process and interview process. One of the main things I always say: be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone else. Why? Because usually the psychologists will look through that. It doesn't look authentic, and then you already lost. Now somebody who just went through a assessment center wasn't taken, and he felt he was himself, but he said that he didn't feel prepared enough, which I do understand. So in any way you can prepare for such an interview, do so. But in the end, I still stand by that quote, that you should be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone else. Be respectful, be self-confident, but don't be arrogant. And always have a plan B ready. When you get asked, what will you do if you don't get taken here? Just have a plan B ready. It doesn't have to be, another aviation job or something. It can be anything. Going to university. Hey, Brennell, to the gates. Brennell, you didn't reply to my last message, did you, regarding tonight? Because the second flight that we're doing is in the ATR, and we're flying in Colombia. It should be fun because I've not flown the ATR for quite some time. But right now, practicing again in the Cargolux 747. Question coming in: have you ever actually had an issue during the flight control check? And if so, what would you do then? Okay, no. Tyson, the flight control check usually, especially with the very modern aircraft, is really just there to check if there's any blockages. So if there's anything hindering a free movement of the flight controls. because a lot of aircraft these days are simply fly-by-wire. The 320, you do look at the flight control page, you know, and call out full left, full right, neutral, etc. I guess Airbus just wants to make sure that the flight control computers are actually, you know, following the commands of the flight stick to the full extent and centering again. But here in the conventional aircraft, it is just to check free movement of the flight control. So if you have an issue, I remember that, not me, but a colleague had an issue where in the ailerons, it would feel twitchy. And so he just, taxied back to the parking stand, switched off the aircraft, and gave over the aircraft to maintenance. You would definitely not go airborne if you have any fears that the flight controls aren't working as they're supposed to. No, so for the version 6, P3D version 6, there are some upgrades and updates available. Orbix said they're going to update the sceneries. I already have updated some sceneries for version 6, but officially PMDG does not support version 6 officially, but there are workarounds how to get some of these aircraft working in version 6. FS Labs have said they're not going to go and make them compatible for now. So yeah, there's only a handful of aircraft that are actually officially working in version 6. Just heard a message 2 minutes ago. Well, we have an ETA, Brenold. So we're landing in Keflavik in about 1 hour, actually 2 hours from now. So we'll be about, I would say, 10:15. So pretty much a normal time. Polaka, hello. Hey, greetings to Brazil. We've a little unethical thing happening at the moment. There's a psychologist who was responsible for the pilot recruitment and is now selling classes, teaching people how to behave on interviews. Well, the question is that illegal? I don't know. We have in Germany, for example, we have a company, or actually 2 companies, that are training you specifically for these assessment center tests. The thing is, though, when you go to the assessment, you will be asked if you had any training for the assessment, and you will have to answer honestly and truthfully, because otherwise they will find out. If your scores are much higher than the average, they will know. And if you've lied to them regarding if you're prepared or not, then you're going to fail. Gilend, I know the military aircraft, Gilend, you do the flight control check there to get the air out of the hydraulics and get the hydraulics moving to the actuators and so on. I think you need to do the flight control check, there for sure. I'm not sure. I never heard of that in the civil aircraft. Hey Simfan, how you doing? Actually, you have an insights on single pilot operation with the major airlines. Okay, so you mean like what the plans are? At the moment, I'm not aware of any airline that officially. Oh, hang on. Disregard. There is a joint project from Cathay Pacific with Airbus on the A350, the Dragonfly concept. And they are also working on single pilot concept for the A350. But apart from that, I've not heard any other major airline saying anything about single pilot operations in the near future. Yeah, Joris, I mean, I've always been very interested in aviation, mainly because my father was a pilot in the Air Force. So, I grew up around aviation. That's one of those things. If you have a very strong desire towards aviation, which a lot of young people have, well, it's worth checking out. Now, of course, when I get asked, what are my views about the job as an airline pilot going forward, I will say, next 10, 15 years, I don't see any major changes. There will be a scarcity of pilots right now for the next couple of years. However, I think it's fair to say that, 25, 30 years in the future, and if you start out as a young person in your 20s, that's the time range, that's the time scale you have to consider, 30 years going forward. And then the question is, well, will we get single pilot concept at some point? Especially long range aircraft, cruise flight? Yeah, maybe. So there will be changes coming, going forward. So you just have to be aware of that. Oh, Brendel, fantastic. That's good to hear. Mark, I think, did I answer the... Yeah, I did answer the topic, right? Regarding that post. Yeah, I did. And Chisholm, I don't think it was illegal here, but at the same time, it looks strange to prepare people for the personality. Yeah, I guess Polaka, I think you could probably say it sounds a little bit like a cheat. But thank you, Mark. But then again, the interviewer now has to be aware that people may be preparing, so maybe they just have to change the test setup to some degree. There we go, VNAV path. We are at the level, and very interesting now. Let me just show you this. Oh, that's the wrong button. So let me just show you that. Camera, down. There we go. So, here on the private flight display, what you can see now is the amber band. So, this one here, this should be the stall margin for, I think it was 45 degrees bank turn. So, as you go and bank and try to maintain level, you're going to put some G load onto the aircraft, hence on the wings. And so that then changes the maximum angle of attack, i.e. the stall angle of attack as well. And so that's why you have that amber band warning. If you fly straight and level, even if you go into the amber band, there will be no problem regarding stall right now. If the G load remains at 1 G, let's say. However, that gives you the kind of the buffer to a 45-degree bank turn. On the top side, now you also have a yellow or an amber band showing you pretty much the same principle. However, on the high speed side, meaning the Mach effect, or meaning the shockwave effect. And they call it high speed stall, but it's not really a high speed stall. It's let me just pull up my document again. And so yeah, people will refer to this as the coffin corner, right? So we are very close to our maximum recommended. So if we go to the VNAV page, we can see that optimum is 342 and maximum is 374. We're actually above our maximum. But in real life, if we were above our maximum, normally you would have those amber bands almost touching. And it's a horrible spot to be in. Because what that band also shows you that when you lose airspeed due to wind shift, you'll be behind the power curve very quickly, where full thrust will not get you out of the slow speed again anymore. So let me have a look. Is it on here or do I have that on Discord only? I think it's only Discord, right? Yeah. Let me see if I already have that downloaded to show it. Phoenix update today. Okay, nice, Beethoven. What did they update? And Carbon Bell, greetings to Halifax. Plus 10 degrees, nice. Yeah, we're looking to very warm weather this weekend here in Germany. Very nice. Let me have a look. So download documents, performance, in-flight performance. So let me just have a look here. There we go. So backside of the power curve. Made a little document on that. So you have the blue line is the green line is the thrust available at this altitude, and blue is thrust required. And normally you would be ahead of the power curve, but if you have a speed disturbance and your true airspeed goes behind the backside of the power curve or into the backside of the power curve, the thrust available is not enough to get the aircraft back into normal speed. Alright, so that shows you that the thrust increase needed, but you don't have that. Hence you would theoretically to descend, give up altitude, unless you have a speed disturbance going the opposite way. Then you may be lucky enough to get out of the backside again. Now, low speed buffet, of course, is more dangerous than a high-speed buffet. So a high-speed buffet regarding a shock wave which does develop over the top part of the wing. So normal conventional airfoil, as we have here in the 747. As you get more and more towards the maximum speed, you will have a shock wave developing on the top part of the wing. And so behind that, you will have a lift separation, and hence you will start to get some buffet. Now, however, the high-speed buffet is not as dangerous as a low-speed buffet. So high-speed buffet, if you just reduce the speed a little bit, you don't have to do any stall procedure. The airflow will connect again to the wing. And so now we have the low-speed buffet, right? And we have the high-speed buffet here. And right in the top part, that's a coffin corner. So the coffin corner is the region where the high-speed buffet lines meets the low-speed buffet line. It's an area where you have very little speed margin between the two buffet areas. Any larger speed disturbance can cause the aircraft to either get into the high-speed or the low-speed buffet area. And where the high-speed buffet area is the one with the less risk. So as a conclusion, you can say that flying at high operation altitudes for given aircraft weight does pose some risk regarding stable flight path. As long as no larger speed disturbances occur, all is good. However, if turbulence is reported at those performance limited altitudes, pilots should avoid them and allow themselves more margin by flying at lower altitudes. And there you have it. Now you know more about aviation than I do. No update regarding Phoenix. Okay, interesting. It's the same version. Okay. So Beethoven, maybe you just missed the update last month. So Flurkle. There are also these websites to prepare you for the DLR, yeah, and lots of people use them. If you don't, then you are at a disadvantage. I don't think so, Flurkle. I don't think so, because as far as I know, you will be asked if you used one of those preparation formats. I mean, I would agree, Flurkle, that these tests do help you maybe become more confident and be less stressed as you go into those tests. That may be an advantage. But again, I know many people like myself, I did not prepare in any form. And so that's why, you can still pass. Well, you know, the weird thing is, right now, what I'm seeing is that I'm seeing a huge demand for pilots. However, at least in Germany, the costs for these pilot trainings are not going down, or at least not significantly going down. So I can only assume that the demand for these courses is still high, even though the prices are also very high. Captain Chaos asked, did they ever change the regulation around cargo pilots where non-cargo movements weren't restricted by flying hours? No, Captain Chaos, as far as I'm aware, it has to do with, you know, EASA, FAA, or whatever regulations you're under regarding maximum duty hours and so on. It doesn't matter if you have, you know, cargo passenger on board. It has to do with being in command of a big aircraft, and hence all depends on how many flight crew you have on board. You know, if the flight crew is enlarged by, you know, another pilot or another 2 pilots, that does increase obviously the maximum allowable hours. And I know that quite a number of cargo operators actually are using 4 pilots. Hey Igor, can't wait for X-Plane 12. Yeah, me too. Yeah, absolutely, Igor. Yeah, and that's actually a reason why I'm not flying the cross the pond in X-Plane 12, because of the performance issues I have at X-Plane 12. So I'm waiting for the update. How can they differentiate between acting that scored high and actually? No. So Flurkle, as far as I know, what I've heard, the results, the difference in results from people that have prepared through these seminars and those that are unprepared is significant. And so you won't have the situation where someone that hasn't prepared has so high scores that they would assume that he did prepare. Hey MCK, good Abend. Oh, that's a good question, Pale. Do you think they lift the age restriction for international flying from 65 to 70? Didn't they up the maximum age to 68 in the US? The problem is that is only in the US, right? So they're not allowed to fly somewhere else outside of the US, because everywhere else in the world is 65. But it's possible. It's possible that it could be increased. Maybe not 70, but maybe they will follow, you know, the US and up the age to 68 first of all. That may happen, yeah. The turbulence issues, yeah, you're right, Maverick. Yeah, I hope they fix that as well. Next generation pilots are going to be retiring at 75. But you know, MCK, here's the thought, or food for thought. Let's say someone that is 22 years old now starts a career as an airline pilot. In 30 years' time, let's say he'll be 53. Who says that in 30 years we won't have the means to grow organs artificially, to grow skin artificially, to grow maybe even bone structures artificially? So who says that we won't have, or even robotic technology that will help you, you know, be very fit at the age of 60, 70? Magic pill to improve cognizance. Who knows? Who knows what they will invent in the next 30 years, right? So I'm just saying, you know, retiring at 75 or even older, you know, Yo, MCK, let's bet a tenner on it. You're funny. You think I'll still be around in 50 years? We'll see. I have my doubts. You are at a clear advantage winning a tenner on that bet. Mark says I can do with it now. Black Box 107, yeah. I just learned yesterday. The oldest human being officially registered was a woman, and she died at the age of 129. That is mind-boggling. That is mind-boggling. Imagine turning 100, and then you have another 29 years ahead of you. That is crazy. 129. Now I need a calculator to work that out. So I would have, if I would be able to become 129 years old, I would still have 74 years from now on to live. That's just mind-boggling. Chinese, yeah, I think it was somewhere in Asia, Simfan, yeah. Honestly, with the little pains I have now, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine living for another 74 years. No, I don't know how I would do that. A bit longer. What? 74? Yeah, exactly. Like 74 years. You could live, to almost see the next century, right? Iowa Scotsman says, you can retire normally at the age of 67, but if I want the maximum social security benefits, I have to. Yeah, a lot of people are having that issue. Iowa Scotsman here in Germany as well. If you retire earlier than 67, your pension will be cut accordingly. And I mean, the pension here in Germany isn't that high anyways. And looking at the current inflation rate or the projected inflation rates going forward, that is just, yeah, I don't know how people will manage that. Simfan, my grandfather was one of 8 children, 6 boys, 2 girls, went through 2 world wars, and the average age of death was 98. Okay, so that proves then that genetics play a huge role in in getting old. Living that long is a curse. It all depends, I think, but that's the thing, right? And we've talked about that as well. Of course, living that long, is definitely nice if you are able to live it in a very active way. So if if you could still go and go on hikes, go cycling, be active, then yeah, sure. But if you got illnesses and you're struggling, even maybe you're living through a lot of pain, then I would say becoming old doesn't really necessarily mean you're going to be happy. State pension 400 quid a month, my god. Yeah. Wasn't that something in the US? Weren't there some states in the US where a meal at McDonald's is getting too expensive for people? Didn't I hear about that? Like let's say a normal Big Mac menu or something costs you like $25 or something like that. Yeah, Nano, I feel for you. My father had some really bad back pain, although that was maybe because of the fact he was a jet pilot. I am lucky. I'm very, very lucky that, in knock on wood, up to this day, I don't have any back pains. So, you know, it's one of those things. If you're unlucky to have inherited something like that with back pain, yeah. Oh, he didn't do carrier landings, but I mean, it's the G-forces, right? They can mess up your back quite badly. So some jurisdictions have ridiculous tax rates on fast food stuff. Okay, well, maybe that makes the difference then, yeah. Yeah. Cool, let's have a look. We are coming close to our entry point. Now, what we would normally have to do on this part of the routing is to get a Oceanic clearance. Although it's quite silly, really, on that part, because from experience, even when I was flying on the A320 and we flew to Keflavik. So here's the Reykjavik Oceanic area. So Ratsu is right at the cross point between Scottish, Iceland or Shanwick, and Shanwick and Iceland Reykjavik area. So for this portion in the Reykjavik or Iceland area, you need a Oceanic clearance, and these days obviously we get that via SEPA DLC, and on the Cross the Pond event you will have to do that simulated through the VATSIM website. And so there is a website. Let me just get the link for that. Yeah, it's called NatTrack. So it's going to be this website. And there on the event, so as you are going towards your entry point, so depending on the areas, it's going to be 90 minutes earliest log-on time and clearance time that you can request it. It can be 15 minutes, depending on if you go through Bordeaux or Iceland. So there's different boundary times you can get the clearance, but you would sign in with your VATSIM credentials, and then you would kind of do that clearance simulated. So for us, we would, on the A320, we didn't have SEPA DLC clearance for the Oceanic. So what we'd have to do is call in and do that by voice. And so you would call in saying, right, estimating Ratsu at, let's have a look here. At 1905, next Aldan, request level 380, Mach point, what do we want to fly? Mach point 84. Alright, and then you would get your clearance, you would read back the clearance, and you're good to go, right? However, in the real world, when you get into the area and you get in contact then with Iceland radio, they would normally just go and tell you to clear to direct Azrun. So, you know, you went through all the trouble getting the clearance, and they would say clear direct Azrun free speed. But it's one of those things, you just have to get the clearance. Now there was some or they were saying there were going to be some changes regarding clearance requests, and apparently we're supposed to have changes now where you don't have to get Oceanic clearance anymore. But they postponed that to November. Although it wasn't quite true, because you would still do a clearance request So normal way you've done that, so you file a flight plan with your routing. You also do a clearance request. However, you would only get the answer cleared as filed, and that's it. So the whole shenanigans between going back and forth and confirming the routing, blah blah blah, and speed and so on, that will be dropped at some point. But you still have to request the clearance. That's the thing. Why didn't that clearance? Well, because they don't have a radar system over the Atlantic, and so they are separating aircraft by distance. Oh, actually, time separation, and so it's going to be, by speed and by position reports. However, the separation minimas have become smaller and smaller over the years, and these days, I can only say from my own experience, once you've entered the Oceanic clearance or the Oceanic area, it takes up to 30 minutes only, and then you would usually get a message saying resume normal speed. All right, so you can actually then go back to your econ speed. Now, normally your econ speed will be pretty close to what you filed anyways, right? Unless you're very late and you're flying a lot faster than you wanted to. But if you're very late, you will continue on that higher speed that you've been cleared on. But nevertheless, if you've been told resume normal speed, you could fly econ speed. And as long as your next estimates are within the 2 minute or 3 minutes time frame, then there's no need to let anyone know. So the whole clearance thing is, it's making sure that every aircraft, every flight crew has gotten the right clearance, has confirmed the right clearance, has confirmed the right altitude or flight level and the right speed. Yeah, so Mark, I can have a look if I can find a picture somewhere. I will do that on the Cross the Pond event. What we can see on the 787 is TCAS symbols, including the flight IDs. So you can see those tracks. So the aircraft lined up ahead of you and behind you, and on the next track out, so 60 miles left and right, you can see these aircraft lined up perfectly. And then since you have the flight ID, you can actually contact the aircraft on 12345. So quite often, I'm not joking, quite often, actually you saw that some videos on YouTube, you hear people chatting away, pilots chatting away with other colleagues. Yeah, football scores, of course, yeah. But, when you fly, like today, right now, there's an aircraft, same level. So we're going to have to monitor that. So as you get closer and closer, normally we have at least 1,000-foot separation. Yeah, exactly, MCK. There was a video where they were talking and saying, hey, beautiful, I made some beautiful pictures of you guys. If you enable airdrop, apparently that worked. So they airdropped a picture from one aircraft to the other. If that is completely true, I don't know, but it could work theoretically. Mark, lol. So Mark had a pic sent in the last Cross the Pond for realism. Oh dear, oh dear. What has flight simulation gotten to? True story, lol. Oh, flight simulation in a nutshell. Oh, I love it. Igor says, remember, as a new RCL reviews, ATC can still force pilots to make some route refile. Yeah, they can. So, of course, any route refilings, you will have to confirm those. Absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, so technology has improved so much. Give an example. So as we enter the oceanic airspace, you know, not only are our position reports downlinked automatically, what we get is we get an uplink request from ATC where it says confirm route, and then what we do here on the nav display, we just simply go with the cursor. Well, we call up the comms page, and then on the comm page we just click on view report, and then we can simply downlink with a one button push. We can downlink our FMS routing again, including all of the estimates and so on. So they can see that we have the right routing and we're flying the cleared route, etc. So it has become very reliable and pretty much foolproof these days. Flurkle, you got to go soon, but I want to ask if you are being interviewed by 4 other people for a pilot position, do you shake all their hands at the beginning of the interview? Yes, of course, Flurkle. Yeah. Yes. At least, Flurkle, I mean, I'm an old guy, right? I'm old class. Olden but golden, as they say, right? But still, I've been raised, regarding politeness. And I think if you don't shake their hands, I think that's actually going to have a more negative impression. So as a sign of politeness and respect, so whatever you should do, and sometimes I have to kick myself whenever I forget to do it. So when you approach a group of people, and let's say you know one person in that group. Let's say there's four people in that group, and you know one person. Don't just shake the hand of the person you know. Be polite and just introduce yourself to the other 3 and shake their hands. It just the opposite way. Give an example. So we're doing briefing, right? We're dispatch office. We're doing briefing. I'm there with my 2 first officers, and then we have someone approach someone who knows one of my first officers and shakes their hand and completely ignores us. The rest. I find that I find that somewhat I don't know, unpolite. So yeah. Exactly, MCK. Imagine the impression you would leave on your cabin crew. Let's say you go into a briefing room, right? You've got 10 cabin crew members sitting there, and you only shake the hands of the purser and ignore the rest. You can't do that, right? CRM wise, you just break so much glass, right? Got some autosave. There we go. So yeah, you got to make sure that you be respectful. We have 2, so we have Purser 1, Purser 2. Yeah, an MCK, maybe that interests you. We had a medical emergency going into Montreal on my last flight, and it was the first time for me that I had 2 co-pilots with me, and it was just so cool to distribute the workload. So I was pilot flying, so I left pilot monitoring for ATC, but I had my other first officer communicate with the cabin crew. So I could listen in on what they were talking about. But he was, because he was so experienced as well, he knew exactly what questions to ask. He knew exactly, what to inquire and so on. It's so cool that, you know, just to have the option to, you know, to get everyone involved and just distribute the workload. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, MCK, it really makes a big difference. It really does make a big difference. Do you like P3D better than Microsoft Flight Sim? No. No. Do I like P3D? Knowing all its limitations, I still enjoy P3D. So the aircraft types that I don't have in Microsoft Flight Sim, I enjoy in P3D. And yes, visually, it can't, you know, you can't compare Microsoft Flight Sim with P3D. However, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. But again, if you ask me, do I recommend you getting into P3D now? I will say no, because it's just simply too expensive. Have you ever had an engine failure in real life? No. But let's just say I heard of a story where a first officer was sitting there with a clipboard, metal clipboard on his lap. And during cruise flight on the 747, it dropped off his lap and switched off that fuel control switch. All right. And they got the message, engine 3 shutdown. Right. And the captain was freaking out. Saying, oh my God, engine failure, we've got engine 3 shutdown, Jesus. You know? And the co-pilot was kind of thinking, oh shit, sorry, that was me. And the captain goes, what was you? Yeah, I accidentally switched off the engine with the clipboard. Right? So you can see the speed is slowly dropping. Now, if you're quick enough, and if you go put that back to run, the crossbleed, you saw the crossbleed there? Theoretically, it can restart the engine through the windmilling, but maybe that's not enough now. So let me have a look if I can do it this way. So start valve open, let's try that. There we go. Start valve is open. Here comes oil pressure. Yeah, there we go. Here comes N3, N1, N2. Right. So not really. Yeah, you would have put the thrust lever to idle. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you would have put the thrust lever to idle. I didn't do that now, but yeah, normally you would. Now, normally you would also take a checklist. You wouldn't do this freestyle like I've just done. But this is a flight simulator. But anyways, yeah, you would go according to checklist. So you have an in-flight engine start checklist, and you would go through that, and there it will say that you would retard the corresponding thrust lever to idle, because you don't want to have the engine spool up straight from idle to max power for obvious reasons. Yeah, step size ICAO, so depending on the region, whatever the FMS has programmed, it would take 1,000 or 2,000 feet step size. You can also put 0 in here, and then on the legs page, manually enter step size, step climb value. So I could, for example, I could say, I want to go climb at Baku to level 400, or let's say 390. 1,000 feet higher. So S for step climb. Execute. And then it should tell me here as well, if it's possible. Maybe it's too heavy now regarding step size, 1,000. But there we go. You can do that as well. So that's actually the preferred method that I'm using on the 787 now. But you could put 1,000 or 2,000. So depending on what you would expect as your next flight level. So usually, obviously, it's 2,000 feet higher. In that area, it can be 1,000 feet. Yes, I did fly the 737. Yeah. No, our routing. Our routings didn't really take us to any higher altitude airports, no. And even on the 320, we didn't have that high altitude button on the overhead panel. That prevents the masks from dropping out. Auto step. We'll see. We'll see if that works out. But then again, you've got to be careful. Let's say you're taking part in across the pond, you know, and you have auto step engaged, and then you're away from the keyboard, and the aircraft just climbs on its own without clearance. Not a good idea. That will get you into trouble. Adam, any advice for that first job out of flight school, especially around type ratings? The price of type ratings these days is insane. Yeah, Adam, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. Now, I don't know. So it's just a feeling, all right? You would, well, not feel. Let's put it this way. Depending on the country where you want to work as an airline pilot, you would have to look at the airlines that offer the most vacancies. So I have the largest fleet. And these days, the 320 seems to be more common than the 737. So let's have a look at Europe. EasyJet, Wizz Air, Ryanair, the British Airways, that's not low cost, but British Airways. Let's look at Lufthansa, Swiss, Austrian. How many of those that I've just mentioned have the 737? Not many. So with these airlines, you have better chances with the A320 type rating, right? But if you see your options, to get a job with a carrier that only has 737s, well, then you would go with a 737 rating, obviously. But these days, at least I have a feeling that the 320 seems to be the more common type rating. So a type rating where you would have more potential to get a job. Beethoven, we had a discussion on the stream, and the 320 you have the knob for high altitude ups and some at the landing. You shut off the GPWs flat 3 landing. How is it in the 737? Good question. I guess on the 737, what you could do, you could switch to manual operation, and then set the cabin altitude yourself, or standby mode or something. So I'm sure that there is a procedure for the 737. But I don't have a checklist for that, so I don't know in detail how that will be done. So Chuck says that shouldn't be happening. So automatic climb shouldn't happen unless you also change the altitude setting on the autopilot. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Toastboard, hello, good evening. Now look, take care. Maybe see you Sunday. Yeah, I know that website, MCK. Yeah, yeah. I'll post it on YouTube as well. Yeah, you'll see lots of vacancies there. and you get some idea about salaries as well. Or even, I think even type rating costs are listed there, right? Yeah, welcome, Beethoven. Best ones in Europe really are Transavia and Lufthansa. Really, Transavia. Okay, so they are in Amsterdam, right? Kind of a Dutch company. Good. Baku estimate is at 01. Now you have to be careful. These estimates here, they differ sometimes from the FMS. So the FMS will take the wind calculation, so the wind data, into its calculation for the complete distance to the waypoint, while on the NAV display, it's an intermix between the displayed wind and the forecasted wind. So you got to be careful. Those times can be... So whenever you get asked for an estimate, take the FMS estimate, not the NAV display estimate. United 767 departing Heathrow, diverting to Brussels right now. Okay, interesting. What's the weather like in London right now? Is it that bad? Because normally United will go westbound, correct, to the US, but it's a bit. Hang on, it's a bit late for westbound right now. Where were they? Oh, they already made it past Ireland and they're flying to Brussels. What? Yeah, Flurkle, you can. You're a subscriber. Oh, Meta. Oh God. Duh. That was a brain fart, sorry. Meta. Right, there we go, Meta, London. Yeah, it's a bit crosswindy, so maybe they have a technical issue of some sort that requires them to have an airport with less crosswind component. Maybe a hydraulic issue. I'm just speculating here though. And Brussels, yeah, a lot less wind. Yeah, United is having a tough time right now, aren't they? Yeah, they are. So, let's have a look at our Sim Toolkit Pro flight plan. We departed at 1749. So I'm going to enter 1749 in here. And Baku was supposed to be there at 1901. Wow, that's going to be right on time. Look at that, 1901. So we're perfect on time, and we're supposed to have 18.9 tons plus the extra of 2 plus contingency if we still have that. So round about plus 3 tons would be normal. So about 22 there. We got 22.9. So we're definitely good on fuel, good on time. GG. BIKF Club, it's called Sim Toolkit Pro. It's a free app. Google that. And then you can download it. Okay, so official language at Switzerland are French, German, Italian, and Romansh. But you can be Geneva born and bred a Swiss national, but to work at Swiss you need to fluent German. Really? You can't get in with fluent French? Really? Okay, that's weird. Does the 767 have fuel dump capability? Good question. I think the 76 I would imagine yes. 75, 757 I don't think so, but 76 probably. But that's just a wild guess from my side. Oh, hang on. They are currently... Oh, that's weird, isn't it? Look, they're currently flying circles. So I would assume they're still outside of the net area. That could be lots of things. That could be navigational issue, altimeter issues, hydraulic issues. How high are they? They are currently at 33,000 feet. So there's still an RVSM airspace. But yeah, they definitely have an issue. How do you know that they're diverting to Brussels? Oh yeah, it says here. Lol. Diverting to Brussels. Yeah, so the weird thing is, so it looks like they are already preparing stuff in the FMS. And they're not squawking emergency. Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, we'll monitor that. Okay, Alex, cool. Thank you. Getting an ATPL through EFA needs you to speak English at a KF4 and another language minimum B2 level. If you go into B2 French, you end up at Brussels or Eurowings Europe. You need German to access. Okay. Well, MCK, I know that you're trying to learn German, right? Which I have to say, I have the highest respect. Anyone trying to learn German, GG's. Big respect for that. How good is the wing flex simulated? Well, it's very smooth air at the moment. Right, let me just try a little bit of wing flap myself here. So that's the wing flex simulation there. Right, LNAV ENF path. How does Flight Radar know? Well, Flight Radar uses the data that the aircraft sends through a certain network. So, for example, if we do, position downlinks, then you will have, lots of data being sent around, and with the correct receiver. So these people around the world that join the Flight Radar 24 community, they will have these receivers, ADS-B, ADS-C, whatever, and they will have those infos. And with these position reports and these reports, they have squawk, heading, altitude, etc. Yeah, I think it should be ADS-B, where I'm not an expert in this by any means. And so you will have things like squawk, you will have things like ground, I think it's true airspeed they're transmitting, or ground speed maybe even. Yeah, maybe ground speed, etc., etc. So yeah, lots of data being sent that way. I still know what I learned of it, but stopped because it's enough to learn French. Ah, okay. Oh, interesting. Really, you prefer French over German? Yeah. That I can understand. That on? Yeah, pleasure. Yeah, there we go. So Ois has some Flight Radar sensors on the balcony, so he's joined that community. And there we go. Yeah, we got some interesting infos there. They left the holding. Let's have a look. So they left the holding. Oh, you're right. Yeah. So now they whatever they had to do to reprogram or try to fix the problem, now they are decided, okay, we'll return. So from this, that they're not squawking emergency, and they they had time to fly patterns, so it's not a time critical issue right now. If anything, so it's not a medical emergency, it's not a huge technical emergency, it's just something, in my opinion, and again, I'm just taking wild guesses here. I have a feeling it would have to do with some navigational equipment that's required for a NAT crossing that they lost, so that broken down, and so officially they can't fly into the Oceanic airspace with that. And so that's why they decided to divert. Although, are they still going to Brussels? Yeah, so why Brussels? Well, in this case, maybe they have the better maintenance base there. Here's Ratsu. I'm amazed. I'm surprised. So we are in real time, 1905 UTC.
Welcome aboard.
We're chasing the sun towards Iceland. And I would have thought we would be landing in the dark,
cabin, where
but we're
complimentary
not.
drinks, snacks, and premium flight infotainment will be served. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the anonymous gifter who gifted Beethoven the sub. Thank you very much for that. That's really kind. Yes, in my opinion, they could fly with a non-functional cell call, but the problem is that you would have to have listening on HF all the time, which is pretty nasty. But I would have to look into my documents to check if you really need cell call or not. But again, I don't think you need cell call per se, but then you have to have listening watch on HF. Why is United still flying 767? Well, because maybe they can't get hold of newer aircraft right now. A lot of airlines are currently struggling to get new aircraft. The market at the moment is so tight regarding new aircraft that there's a long waiting list. And so, give you an example, the 747s at Lufthansa, the 747-400s, there's now some of these older versions that are getting their fourth big maintenance. So the level D maintenance, which is hugely expensive. It takes months to complete, and it's never been done before. I think the fourth level D maintenance action on these aircraft. They are so expensive, and you can imagine that normally they would have scrapped those by now, but they just can't get hold of enough new aircraft to replace them. Because right now, the 787 is having delays, and also the 777 are having delays. So the 777X they ordered, they should have been delivered how many years ago? 2 or 3 years ago? And now they are saying next year, but even next year is somewhat, I would say, somewhat ambitious with the current problems that Boeing has. So remaining flight time is about 55 minutes. Oh, we're creeping up on that aircraft. I tell you what we'll do, guys. We can't go higher because we're at max altitude. Let's go 2,000 feet lower, shall we? So let's go vertical speed. I'm going to put 360 in here. So vertical speed and 360. Gilend, yeah, the strategic lateral offset procedure is not to overtake someone. Okay, that is just to make sure you don't hit someone coming up the opposite way. So no, I wouldn't do that in this case. So we have a button on our 787 MCU with offset. I don't have it here. So menu, route, offset. There we go. I would have to put that in here. Like, so now you only right offset for strategic, right 1.2 in that entry. Then it's 1.2 right. Or maybe it doesn't take decimals. 1.2 right. No. Then let's do 1 right. What? What am I doing wrong? Ah, right one. There we go. Yeah, it was the last one, of course, of all the things I tried. Right one. You're such a genius. Yeah, you are. Pyroblaster. It was the right one. Exactly. Lol. What promise 777? Well, the 777 are VNAV path. The 777s are having issues. So the 777X with certification right now, so they're way behind schedule. They're flying it around the world right now. They're doing their internal test flights, but apparently, what I've heard, they are not doing the official tests yet with the FAA. Oh, I saw that article. Someone, a whistleblower, was saying the 787 is in risk of breaking apart mid-flight. Right, I hope not. That would make me feel somewhat uncomfortable, to say the least. How is the 7474 compared to this Dash 8 regarding fuel burn and systems? Well, systems, the 747-8 has a integrated electronic checklist, for example. It has LCD screens. It has the Gen X engines, which should be more fuel efficient. So right now, the Rolls-Royce should be burning round about, what is it, 8 to 9? Maybe even 10. Let me just check. Fuel. Nope. Yeah, 10. Almost 10. So 9.6 tons per hour they're burning right now. And I think the Gen X, they will burn about 8. 7.5 to 8, so they are a little bit more efficient as well. Hey Patrick, I commented a few videos ago on P3D asking you for send some config file. You can download those on my website, on my Discord. You have so we are talking about chase plane, correct? Yeah, so on my Discord, let me just check which channel that is. So on my Discord, I just sent you the link for that. There, you've got to scroll down on the channels, pretty far down, and it says it has chase plane views, and there are some for 787 as well. So I've got 777, I have 787, 737, 747, Mad Dog, Evers Labs, they're all there. Which graphic add-ons do I use? Okay, so currently I use RD Shade, it's called. RD Shade. So I'm not using Reshade. I'm using RD Shade. Although right now, so the dusk time is literally the worst time to fly. I use Active Sky Cloud Art. I use Active Sky Weather. I use... What else do I use? Well, I think that's pretty much it for P3. Oh, sorry. Obviously flown to Haneda 747-400 and -8 many times. Nice. Yeah, the 747 is something special, right? Now, I would say, though, the A380 is the aircraft which is most comfortable. Apart from 787, obviously. 787 is also very nice. But the A380 obviously is very luxurious, and yeah, I think that's most popular aircraft. I don't know, Flirkle. You would have to ask the CEO of Lufthansa, Mr. Spohr. He probably will tell you. Now, my opinion. So my view on that is, for example, I think, well, even though I think it's undisputed, so to have all those different company airlines, you are creating an environment for competition. So you could say, dear pilots from Eurowings, if you don't get cheaper, we will give certain routings to Discover Airlines, or vice versa. All right, so you can blackmail to a certain degree the staff into lower wages. Well, Flirkle, I can tell you that aviation is a tough business. Yeah, MCK, that's just the way it is. So Lufthansa City Airlines is being started now, which will fly A319s initially, that have pretty much the same logos, the same interior, than the legacy airline 320 or 319s. However, the flight crew is external, and the flight crews don't have to speak German, so they only require to speak English. And I don't know where they're coming from. So right now, there are A319s from mainline Lufthansa going to City Airlines. And so, yeah, it's outsourcing. Let's name it that way. It's outsourcing. That's just the way it is. Hey, Maverick. Is it illegal? No. Right? The managers have the right to do that. Is it nice? No. The manager will tell you, though, that it's necessary to stay competitive. So it's just two different views on things, but they're going through with it, and they're now having another AOC. How big will City Airlines get? Well, not decided yet, I would say. It all depends, right? It could in the end replace pretty much all of the short-haul flights, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Hang on. So that's how it looks. Look. It's hard to tell the difference between Lufthansa Legacy and Lufthansa City Airlines. Just a city there. Look at that. That's how they look. What do you mean with the 350, Cadet? Do we have enhanced atmospherics on? I think so. Let me just have a look here. Graphics. Graphics. I hope I'm not killing with the sim now, but we have so lighting. No, display. No, where's world? There we go. Yeah, I have. So I have enhanced atmospherics on, but I don't use volumetric clouds. I use active sky cloud art. Yeah, Gilend, I have a different view on that, Gilend. I think it does create a safety issue because it's proven that if you have pilots, two different nationality of pilots in the flight deck, in very stressful situations, it's shown that people fall back into their native language. So it could be an issue in these situations where communications get difficult. Right. It's one of those topics where you could argue about safety, but you would have to prove that. And of course, right now, you would have a hard time proving that. So unless something really happens, there won't be an issue with that. So any comment saying that city airlines will be less safe than mainline is just, well, you can't prove it. It's the same as saying that Ryanair is less safe than the legacy airline. There's no proof for that. All right. So the only thing I think where things become problematic is if you don't communicate that to your customers. So if you say to your customers you're booking, a certain airline, and then you're actually flying with a wet lease partner, it's legal. That's totally legal. That's not a problem usually regarding legality. However, I think you are pretty much screwing the customers if you don't let them know clearly that they will not fly the airline that they are booking. And yes, I know somewhere in the little notes and somewhere on the booking or somewhere on the boarding pass, it will say operated by whatever. All right. And hence, if you clearly tell them and if they're okay with that, well, that's fine. Right? There's no issue. Oh, I thought, so Patrick, I'm sorry, I thought you meant chase plane. I would have to check with my moderators if I'm allowed to post a config main file. I just don't want to bust any legal stuff with Lockheed Martin. If there isn't any issues, I will post that to you. Patrick, can you do me a favor, Patrick? Can you send me a PM, a direct message on Discord, please? Oh, hey guys, I don't think I can. Oh, hang on, let me just see if I find that. That is just hilarious. Hang on, let me just find that. Hold on. That, I honestly, you remember, guys, the story I was telling you guys from my flight with Air Baltic A220 from Bremen to Zurich? Remember the story when we had delay because one of the workers, it was cold outside, and one of the workers had a little woolen hat on, and it was sucked into the E&E compartment. So the ventilation for the E&E compartment There's an even better one. Now that was I had a recording, my recording. That I showed you that, but there's an even better one, guys. Let me just get the. It is so hilarious. Hold on. Where did I post it? Hold on. I sent it to my brother. So there it is. Hold on.
I'm not trying to be.
Hang on.
Technical issue with the aircraft. The story is that on the outside of the aircraft, on the left-hand side, there is a ventilation duct, which is an air intake for the air conditioning system. And there is a lady who's part of the ground team. She got a little bit too close to this intake system, and the aspiration of the intake system pulled the wig off her head.
It pulled. Do you hear that? It pulled the wig off her head. I feel so sorry for her. Can you imagine that? It pulled the wig. Oh my god, how embarrassing. So, but a fantastic announcement. 10 out of 10 for that announcement. Yeah, honesty in that case is definitely the best way to go. But yeah, hats off, a fantastic announcement. Yeah, the thing is, so Mauritos, so let's say, for example, on the A320, the intakes are pretty high up. So if you walk past that on the 320, normally, at least on the intake, it shouldn't really be an issue. But on the A220, so any aircraft that's a little bit lower, maybe an Embraer as well, you've got to be careful. Yeah, these things, you know, loose items, they can be hats off, no pun intended. Yeah, hats off. Right. Oh dear. Oh, this is but honestly, sometimes the things you witness on an everyday, you know, day-to-day life as an airline pilot, man, you can't make those things up. It's funny sometimes, yeah. Right. Where? Hang on. I was really gaining on that aircraft. How many miles is he now? 15, 16 miles. We're going to start ascend. I don't know if we catch him. We're not really flying that fast. I'll tell you what. 8.6 easily. Yeah. Full throttle. Here we come. So top of descent at 80 miles, meaning 10 minutes roundabout. So let's have a look at the weather. So currently we have 360 at 16 knots, no 17 knots, few 3,600 feet, broken 4,400, broken 6,104 degrees. QNH is 986. So let's dial in 9. That's low pressure, isn't it? 986. I'm going to pre-dial that here on the primary flat display. 986. We've got a long runway and we are landing south to north, meaning that since the terminal area is up north, up here, so I'll just find the airport layout. So We'll park. Well, normally cargo is here, but we're going to go to the remote terminal here. So we're going to leave the runway at Kilo 1. High speed, so that's a very long way down. So that means we have about 2.5 kilometers. So that's fine, 2.5 kilometers. So what we're going to do is we're going to take flaps 25 for landing. Hang on, there was flaps 25. And then we're going to have an ILS approach, so we'll take the minimums of Delta. Delta, all the same, so ILS 340 feet. So I'm going to dial in, reset, bar row, 340 feet. So there we go, 340, got a speed, got the pressure already. And then for the landing auto brake setting, we'll put 2. Yeah, 2 should be okay. I'm optimistic. Good. That's the preparations, FMS wise. How we're looking there. Let's have a look for the arrival. So the Azrun 3 November arrival. Got Timlu 100 above. Kilo Fox 113, 120 below. Kilo Fox 379, 7,000 below. And then Dexon at 3,500 or above. Speed 230. So that's what we have. Then we move on to the ILS from Dexon as initial approach fix. Go to Kilo Fox 101. Actually, Kilo Fox India 01. 210 knots. Maximum 2,500 feet. Then we drop down to 1,800 feet to Zuvil. 2.94 degree profile down. It's interesting because here it says 3 degrees. And minimums we set is 340. Missed approach will take us straight out 012 track climbing 3,000 feet. And then radar vector spec for the second approach. Fuel, we have currently 15.2 estimated arrival fuel. And we need for diversion 10.9. So we have at least 4 tons extra. That is round about 20 minutes. So we have enough fuel for a second round. Sounding good. So how's the flight United? Look at how fast. Well, not fast. It's down island. How many? Hold on. Ground speed is. Yeah, it's fast. 540 knots. It just seemed so slow, but he came all the way from there, and they're still going to Brussels. Yeah. Yeah, Gilend, if I would speculate, I would say for maintenance reasons. Yeah, Patrick, I will get back to you after the stream, all right, regarding that file. I don't see an issue with that file, but just need to make sure with the moderators that it's okay. Yeah, 166 approach speed, yeah. We are heavy. 289. Max landing weight is 285 point. No, sorry, 302. If I remember correctly, our max landing weight for the 747-400 was 295, 296 or something. So we are pretty heavy, yeah. 185 Sky, hello to you. I'm currently a first-year bachelor student and I have been given the opportunity to work part-time as a pseudo-pilot, which will enable me to start my pilot training. Do you think it's worth it to do ATPL theory right after completing the PPL and is it even feasible while studying university? I think it is. There are courses. We have courses here in Germany where you have a university course, so you do get a bachelor at the end of engineering, let's say, and at the same time you get your ATPL. Yeah, we have that. I think it does make sense. Yeah, absolutely. Dekar question: wouldn't you want to use radio for minimums? No. So I know that there may be some companies, airlines out there that have a different view on this, but for me, from my procedures, the way I'm taught, and my SOPs are saying that whenever I'm shooting a normal ILS approach or a non-precision approach, I always use bar row. So decision height is only to be used for category 2 and category 3 approaches. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, Luft Concorde it is. It is Luft- und Raumfahrttechnik. Yeah, I don't know what the name is in English. So something aviation. No, so the problem is, so when you land on an airport, right, and you're referencing yourself to decision height. Let me just pull up the chart from the ILS approach. So if you are flying a category 2 or category 3 approach, your minimums will be so close to the runway where usually you are within the airport perimeter. And in the airport perimeter, usually, not always, you will have a fairly flat terrain to the runway. So there will not be, big jumping values in your radio altitude. But if you're talking about an ILS approach where you have 200 feet, 300 feet height, decision heights. So here, for example, we have 200 feet. That means you are further out, right? So 1,000 feet, 3 miles. So that's a fifth for 200 feet. And so that means, you're still about 600 yards, 700 meters outside of the runway area. So the terrain there, being outside of the airport perimeter, could be a lot more hilly. And that way, how would you decide on, where you would then so if the radial altimeter jumps like, 400, 300, 250, 400, 300, 250, so where do you then go around? The first time it hits, your minimum, or the second time, the third time, right? That's why you have these differences in decision height or minimum descent altitudes. All right, I'm going to start our descent. Oh, there he is. There he is. Found it. Now, I would assume he's also flying to Keflavik. Maybe that's a Speedbird. Because IRL, the elevation of Amsterdam is -12, while in X-plane with feet and is about +18, so the minimums in the sim would be way too late with bar row. Well, I mean, that's a very specific, very specific flight sim issue then. And then I would argue the weather simulation, yeah, but the weather simulation in the flight sims, depending on what add-on you are using, if you're using X-Plane standard weather or X-Plane active sky, I mean, that's going to have a bigger influence on when, you know, if we talk about right at minimums weather. So he's also descending. Yeah, I honestly, I wouldn't really consider that. I would just simply fly the baro minimum, because that's what I've been, you know, that's how my SOPs are being used, and so I would use baro nonetheless, even if there is a difference in 30 feet from just a wrong mesh, if you like. Interesting, but that's I find that an interesting statement, Descartes. And also, Descartes, I'm not saying it's wrong. Don't misunderstand my comment. If you, it's a flight sim, so if you feel that you have a better outcome using your radio setting, so 200 feet radio height, by all means use it. All right, by all means. Because I know that there are airlines, or you know, some how would you call them? Kind of business jet SOPs, where they probably use. Right. Okay. So I have a problem now. Aircraft descending to Keflavik. What's your ground speed? Yeah, so he's in front of me. I have to slow down. So we go 250 knots. Yeah, Descartes, I'm going to have to look at the... next time I fly an X-plane, for example, I'm going to have to try to check out, you know, if there's a huge difference then. But Descartes, another thought from my side regarding indications, wouldn't there be maybe a bigger issue with differences in simulated air pressure to the altimeter setting that you've set in the aircraft? So let's say you gather some real world data saying it's QNH 1012, but in the sim it's actually simulating, you know, 1010. That's also 60 feet difference. You know, so yeah, it's yeah. So I'm going to keep visual separation to that guy. Let's go and... do we have below settings? No, we don't. That's a shame. Yeah, 185 Sky. I'm not really a big fan of that. I think when you are below 10,000 feet, both pilots should be able to take over control immediately. So of course you have your pilot flying, the pilot monitoring. So the pilot monitoring should also be able to take over full control. So yoke or stick and thrust levers. And so he would have to drop the phone or something or throw it away. It's possible. I'm not saying it's dangerous. It's just something I would say you have to consider. Now, there are different airline regulations. So, for example, British Airways, I'm pretty sure, does not allow their pilots to film in the flight deck during flight. We don't have such a regulation. We only have a regulation when we want to publish that for to make money. Then maybe the airline would say you would need to have an official permit from the airline. But if it's very private, private means, then just trying to find where did I put the offset? Oh, route. There we go. So delete. All right, let's delete the offset. Okay, so on ground they have so British Airways has relaxed policies. Visitors in the cockpit, no question asked. They let you take photos with no issues. Okay. Yeah, Monitos, also good point. Also good point. You are correct. There are airline, so private business jets that fly single pilot concept, and so yeah, there may be someone in the right hand seat that is not even rated as a pilot. So, give an example. So, let's say, for example, Citation Max, fantastic personality, fantastic person, really amazing, and he does some amazing YouTube videos. I absolutely love them. And he sometimes has his relatives, so his mother or father, in the right hand seat in the front. And I mean, if they film, I don't see an issue with that. The most recent you saw was Global Express that has a 2-pilot crew. Okay. Yeah, well, in that case, I would say you should restrict that. Yeah. Is Flanger his parents? Well, I mean, they are, as far as I can say, they own the aircraft, right? Or at least the aircraft. So it's their business to fly people around the US. Hey, Peter. The best time would be after the flight, if I'm absolutely honest, because prior, what the pilots do is at some point they will brief, they do the cockpit briefing. And so it's sometimes difficult to get into the flight deck prior to departure, so on the ground. So I would actually go do it after the flight. But then, if you do that, you should try to get up front as quickly as possible, because obviously, once everybody has left the aircraft, right? If it's a bus, you don't want to leave everybody else waiting in the bus, or they're closing the jetway at some point. So, after the flight, they kick you out because the crews changed. Okay, well, yeah, that's also an issue. Yeah. Is there any way you can get your relatives into the cockpit during the flight with an airline? Officially, no. Officially, it depends on the local country regulations. But here in Germany, officially, no. US and Canada and UK, even more restricted, officially. I'm not saying anything. I'm not implying anything. I'm not saying anything. Okay. Yeah, Fogband, total right. Oh, that's interesting, MCK. So I guess you were in front of the terminal and there was no limit regarding to get in and out of the terminal, right? What do you think about... I like people coming to the flight deck. I like it. I know, you know, so it's either people that have a certain, well, you know, interest and a sort of fascination about aviation, or maybe they have a fear of flying, or they are, you know, generally just, you know, intrigued and want to see what the flight deck looks like. So, for example, the 787 flight deck is still somewhat unique, and so I have people asking, you know, to have a look at the flight deck after the flight quite often. So, you know, I quite like just having a chat with the people, and you know, always interested to hear. And it's quite funny sometimes when you have some younger people coming in, and you know, they know so much already. It's crazy. It's like, you know, unbelievable. So normally, so you know, you have someone little coming in, you know, very quiet. You try to animate them, you know, say hello, your name, etc., and try to animate to ask them questions. But then there's some youngsters coming in and saying, "Oh, hello, yeah, okay, so I know. So this is the thrust levers. This is the flap lever. This is the speed brake lever. This is the landing gear lever." Like, yep, correct. So it is quite funny. I quite enjoy that. Nito says he had a friend that knows a captain. He was able to get a jump ride on a Nor and Brea. Nice. I have heard rumors that someone here in chat has gotten a ride with Vueling in the flight deck. All right. So I'm not saying it's impossible. But it's very restricted. Let's put it this way. It all depends on the captain and the co-pilot. So that was a Birmingham MCK, Roger. So I'm just going to have a look at the flight path here really quickly. So we have a remaining distance, 56 miles, currently 15,000 feet, roundabout. Yeah, should work. Bit headwind. I'm surprised it's still light. I guess we are in real time, and this is how bright it still is. Fascinating. Iberia as well, so maybe the Spanish are a little bit more relaxed. Oh, VNAF alt, let's continue. Idle VNAF speed 90. And as a matter of fact, let me dial in 2,500 already. So the ILS 111.3 is pre-dialed, 012 degrees is correct, and the identifier later should be India Kilo November. You will see that on here.
Keflavik, traffic, Speedbird 801 on the Ashroom 3 November arrival, passing Kilo Foxtrot 113 at flight level 100, Keflavik traffic.
So I missed the point. What was he reporting? Where is he? Keflavik traffic. Cargox 8711 is passing Kilo Fox 113 for the ILS 01 in Keflavik. So this is that person that flew along from East Midlands. Nice. Are you in chat by any chance? Air News told he was able to bring the parents on jumpsuit with him. Yeah, again, it all depends on... In the end, it's the captain that has to make sure regulations are followed. So if he does something different, then he's liable to get into trouble, right? Will he get into trouble or she into trouble? No, not necessarily. Could it be? Yes. Alrighty, seatbelts on, lights on. Ah, there he is. So how many miles is that? Ugh. Oh, 5 miles. That is exactly, that's how pro pilots do it. 5 mile separation. I don't know how I do it. Uh, 185 Sky, thank you much for that. I'll have a look at that later. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some recordings as well. Yeah, you know, some handheld video shots. Yeah, I've seen that. Cool. India Kilo November ILS is identified. Does the 787 feel like a conventional Boeing, or no? It you can feel the fly-by-wire system. So Pisco, the 787 flies very stable, and I've not got a ton of landings, but I think I have like 25 landings now, and I've done quite some interesting 30-35 knot crosswind landings. Especially Toronto is well known to have very gusty, bumpy winds on final, and never before have I ever felt the aircraft was so controllable, so predictable. So even the flare. So when you start your flare, and then when you press the rudder to decrep the aircraft, everything is so smooth. It's and so well controllable. I really, really like it. (987) now, so 987 is set. Oh, MCK. Yeah. So people ask me what I think of it, and I'm like, good God. Honestly, if I did those kind of inputs at my company and one of my instructors saw me, he would really have a go at me. He would have that stopped. I'm not saying that sometimes you have to do some very drastic inputs, but from what I could see and what the way I could judge, those inputs were way too strong, A, and B, he was getting way too low in the approach. I know, display threshold, blah, 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 it was still safe, yes, but they were almost 2 dots low. at some point. So I don't know, you know, what the limitations are, and you know, but I honestly, I would not have published that video, never ever. I know, but I know that there's some other pilots that don't even talk to me anymore because I am so critical on stream. So, but I don't mind. I don't care. I honestly don't care. You know, if you come here and ask my honest opinion, you will get my honest opinion, and I will tell you my honest. So, if I say something looks weird or I don't like it, I will say so. MCK, not at all. I'm honestly, I've said it before, and I'm glad I'm not so much part of that hype circus anymore, because here comes Flaps one, because I find it so cringeworthy these days now, the way products are hyped, you know, before they are released, and I just, you know, I don't want to be part of that, honestly. I do not. Now, this is the area. Isn't this the area where the current volcano is active? It's down here, isn't it? So it's on VNAV path. So it's still a bit below path. That's fine.
Keflavik traffic, speedbird 801, island 201, 10 miles out. Keflavik traffic.
Love Concorde. I know you are very, very fond of the Concorde, but at the moment we've got so much work here at home going on, renovation works. I honestly am really hard pressed on time. Here comes Flaps 10. And we already discussed that obviously flying the Concorde, FS Labs Concorde especially, it does take time to prepare. Lock, lights, lock, armed. Okay, let me just go flight level, change speed here. And I'm going to go down to 1800 now for the final intercept. And Ark, hello to you. How are you? Nice to see you. Lock, light slow. That's what we call a superstar. That's really good timing for the automatic saving. Oh, hang on. I know what it is. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, Echo should be gone now, right? Yeah, update with the OBS, that's why. Yeah. There is a microphone in the yoke. Why is there a microphone in here? Can somebody tell me, please? What sense does that make? Keflavik traffic. Cargolux 8711 is on a 7 miles final or 7.5 mile final. Traffic ahead is in sight in Keflavik. Flaps 20.
Speedbird 801, currently on a 4 mile final. I'll try to take it as quickly as possible.
And flaps 25. Final setting. Descent checklist recall is checked. We're chatting so much, so recall checked. Auto brake is 2. Landing data VREF 161. Minimums bar 340. Briefings completed. Approach checklist altimeters 987 set. And the... what else do we have? Landing checklist, speed brake armed. Landing gear is down and flaps 25. Cool. So let's make sure we press the right buttons. It's this one here. Here we go. It's so difficult to synchronize all of the thrust levers. Blimey.
Approaching 02.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a close one. We're so much faster than traffic ahead. Was it MCK 2,200 meters or something to land behind? He's touching down now. Oh no. Oh no. 2,400. Oh, good God. Yeah, but I can see him. He's going to turn off the next taxiway there. 100%. Yeah, there we go. Thank you much. Whew. That was a close one.
Welcome.
Continue. Thank you very much.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Ah, yes, please. Spoilers! Oh, actually, speed brakes up. The reverse as normal. We can still overtake him. That's a nice float. Better than slamming it, right?
3,000 feet remaining.
If I had slammed it, you would have gored me for slamming it, so...
2,000 feet remaining.
There we go. Land at the same time. Either he was going very fast, I was going really slow. Keflavik traffic. Cargox 8711 vacated runway 01 in Keflavik. Very nice. So let's have a look. What's the apron called there? Hold on. Taxi. Parking stands. Hold on. Taxi, parking stands. They are the 70s. Okay, so let me see if I can get that with GSX. Parking. LR. Let's have a look. $121. No, that's somewhere else. Let's try. Ugh. Yeah, I do want to park at the main area. I don't want to go to the other side. I mean, these positions look big enough, don't they? 73. Okay. Next page, next page. There we go, 73. And that's our parking spot right there. Excellent. Are you flying from Sydney to... Is it Dublin? Nice. Are you practicing for the cross the pond, or... Yeah, the taxiways from the flight deck of the 747, they all look very small, yeah. I have a really funny video, one botched landings in the Piper 28, massively overspeed. It was coming off a glide approach. And well, I mean, glide approaches are difficult. Rather have a little bit too much speed than not enough speed. What's your opinion on airlines hiring for the long-haul fleet straight out of flight school? Well, why not? It's the same argument like with the US, where US are saying, how can you allow someone in an airline, a flight deck, that doesn't have 1,500 hours as PIC? We in Europe, we do that. We've been doing that for a very long time. Ab initio training, absolutely no issue with that. So we're going to overshoot quite a large deal here. There's our ramp agent. So you get the idea on how much you have to overshoot in order for the main gear to actually be on the line. Now it takes some practice. So when you're taxiing these big aircraft in real life, it does take some practice. Yeah, taxiing these big aircraft in real life is a lot easier than it is here in the flight sims. Great. Now I can't see him. Wow, that is a long ways forward. Are you sure about this? We're going to kiss that... APU is running. Fantastic. So actually, put these on. All right, welcome to Keflavik. Very nice. So we're going to get the chocks in position. Menu, actions, ground services. Chocks are in position. Actually, let's dual request the ground power. And then put that to standby. Dome light on. Hydraulics off, fuel pumps off. That can remain as is. Strobe beacon off, that off, flight directors off. And that looks good. Let's read a shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps off, hydraulic panels set, flaps are up. Parking brake released. Fuel control switches cut off. Weather radar is off. And transponder 2000 standby. Okay, interesting. 2000 standby set. And that's the shutdown checklist completed. Woo! No, I don't think so, MCK. Well, maybe it was me that pressed the yoke forward. Yeah. Very nice. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for supporting. So nice. That was kind of a pre-test for the Cross the Pond coming up on the 20th. We're going to go into the ATR now, flying in Colombia on Microsoft Flight Sim, and the next live stream will be Sunday. So we're going to stream now, but if you're not interested in the ATR, we'll do something fun on Sunday as well. Probably some group flight again. And yeah, thanks for all the awesome questions, as always. And my dear moderators, thanks for all the help. Thanks for looking over the chat. And see you in a few minutes or on Sunday. Take care, everyone. Thank you, MCK. Good night.